Time now to take a look at top stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers this Friday morning. And we start off with the First News newspaper. And of course, the big story is on the supplementary budget, which we bantered on earlier. Reps yank of 5 billion naira presidential yacht, raise students' loan to 10 billion naira. As National Assembly passes the 2.1 trillion naira supplementary appropriation bill. Of course, there's a rider by the presidency that the vessel is for the Navy and not the president. Also, there is a quote from the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, that Tinubu isn't against either religion. That's talking about the National Mosque as well as the Ecumenical Center. Of course, these issues have also been in the news over the past few days, and that's a rejoinder, so to speak, by the FCT minister. Supreme Court decides jailed ex-reps member Farouk Lawan's fate, January 26, and NLC President Joe Ajero mixing politics with unionism. That's according to Hope Uzodinma, governor of Imo State. The central bank there saying high withdrawals causing cash scarcity in some places. That's in the wake of speculations as to the possibility of cash scarcity, but the Apex Bank is saying that isn't the case and is alluding to high withdrawals causing this shortage of cash in some places. Now, court orders former CBN governor Emefiele's unconditional release as another judge threatens to order his arrest over a $50 million judgment debt. Let's see this Nigeria now. No presidential yacht. Reps exclude 5 billion naira cruiser request in 2023 supplementary budget. Tinubu says, I didn't ask for it. Senate silent on controversial vessel. Approves 2.17 trillion naira budget. And there's an interesting picture story captioned The Lioness of Kogi Politics as President Godswill Akpabio, President of the Senate, handing over a copy of the Senate standing rules to newly sworn-in Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan after her swearing in by the clerk of the Senate in Abuja on Thursday. Tinubu appeals for fair, transparent electoral conduct in Bayelsa Imo Kogi polls. Minister of Works Dave Umahi saying 18.6 trillion naira needed to fix federal roads in 4 years. Arrest and prosecute those who brutalized NLC president. That's according to the Association of Polytechnics, the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, I should say, urging the president there as Governor Uzodinma accuses Ajero of politicizing labor activities in Imo. And finally, on this Nigeria, CBN commences clearing of forex backlogs as Naira gains 55 Naira against the dollar. Next is Nigerian Tribune. Reps transfer 5 billion naira for yacht to students' loan as NASS approves 2.1 trillion naira budget. More stories there. CBN may begin disbursement of foreign airlines trapped funds. High volume withdrawals causing scarcity of naira notes in some locations as CBN assures of sufficient stock. Reps move to recover over $30 billion revenue from merger of multinational oil firms. And test running of Red Line to commence in December. That's according to Lagos Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who inaugurates the Yaba flyover. And there are pictures to buttress the story. This occurred on Thursday. Over now to Blueprint. Students' loan scheme gets 5 billion naira boost is the biggest story there. Senate okays 2.1 supplementary budget. And Wike approves maintenance of National Mosque and Ecumenical Center in Abuja. On the Rivers crisis, Bala's meeting, that's the head of the PDP governors who met with Tinubu, was not to hand over party to president. This is the stance of PDP governors who add that Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, and his predecessors face off has national consequences if unchecked. Another rider there, or another headline story on the blueprint is the Civil Aviation Authority of Nigeria warning pilots and airline operators of bad weather conditions, and so necessary precautions should be had. Finally, with me is Daily Independent. Kudos trail reps scrapping of controversial 5 billion naira presidential yacht. Kudos trail reps scrapping of controversial 5 billion naira presidential yacht. It's insensitive to propose purchase of yacht at this time. That's according to the main opposition party, the PDP. But there are more riders from the NNPP that saying procurement is a misplaced priority. Request inconsiderate, inhuman. That's another reaction. And an activist there is also quoted as saying that action is commendable as long as there is sincerity of purpose. And for the presidency, we are buying an operational naval boat, it insists. On the Bayelsa gubernatorial election coming up in a few days' time, APC alleges plot by PDP to unleash violence in Bassambiri, Nembe, as allegation ridiculous, diversionary. This is according to Governor Diri's media aid. INEC justifies 18 billion naira supplementary budget. Appeal court affirms Undume Lawan as elected senators. CBN says we have sufficient stock of currency notes, and reps to declare emergency on malaria. PDP raises the alarm over imposition of APC leaders as REC members. Naira may trade below 1,000 naira to the dollar as CBN begins clearance of forex backlogs. And brain drain assumes crisis dimension as 7,000 health workers move abroad. Former Governor of Ekiti State, Fayemi, proffers solutions to arrest what's been called the Japa syndrome in the healthcare system. All of this on the Daily Independent and the other aforementioned papers. Over to you, Ibrahim.
Right, Leadership Friday is the first with me here, and the screaming headline is, amid public outcry, presidency, Navy clarify 5 billion naira budget for yacht. Tinubu doesn't need yacht to work, say aides. It's part of our fleet replacement for defunct one, Navy. Lawmakers move allocation to student loan. Above the nameplates, we didn't change INEC Commissioner nominee's name. Wike approves maintenance funds for National Mosque Christian Center. That's you find that on the front page of the Leadership Friday. Court orders on conditional release of Emefiele. And on the bottom strip, Labour may fly a gyro abroad for treatment. That's about it for the Leadership Friday. Next is the Nation newspaper. Rivers crisis, the kicker and the headline, why we are with Tinubu by PDP governors. Situation capable of breaking down security, I'll protect party structure, Wike insists. Also, Uzodinma faults NLC claim on Ajaero. That's it. On the above the nameplate, no FCT land allocation without infrastructure, says Wike. Presidential yacht, a naval security boat, presidency clears the air. A laughing stool, court strikes out suit against Makinde. Insurgents kill 24 mourners in Yobe. You see that on page 27 of the Nation newspaper. And here, below the masthead, Bayelsa Imo Kogi 2023, President appeals for free, fair governorship elections. Why Ododo will win in Kogi by Governor Yahya Bello. Labour Party candidate intensifies campaign in Bayelsa. You see that on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Next is Daily Trust. Manufacturers groan as diesel price hits 1,300 naira per litre. It's hitting us hard. Truckers. Factories may shut down. Experts. Inflation may get worse. Large withdrawals causing cash scarcity in some locations. CBN. Hezbollah, Israel exchange fire as violence spikes at Lebanese border. Reps reject 5 billion naira presidential yacht pass supplementary budget. And below the masthead, CSOs raise the dust over 18 billion naira INEC supplementary budget. Relief as CBN begins clearing $7 billion FX obligations. Nike's visit. We have every right to invite our Muslim brother, Sultan replies critics. That's about it for the Daily Trust newspaper. Next is The Guardian. White elephant game. Unviable football clubs drain state billions of naira yearly. That's the big story for pages 4 and 5. And then you see the infographics here with the club expenses. Then below the picture here, reps summon CBN, discos over $321 million, 18.2 billion naira loans for electricity projects. That's on page 7. WHO ranks Nigeria highest out-of-pocket expenditure nation in West Africa. Importers opt for trucks as multiple charges hobble NRC's cargo haulage target. Reps the list 5 billion naira yacht, raise student loan to 10 billion naira as Senate okays Tinubu's 2.17 trillion naira budget. PDP chieftains sue Tinubu Senate over Umaran's rec appointment. That's about it for the Guardian newspaper. Next is Nigeria News Direct. Telecom companies resist new transaction tax with tower companies. Alton, Atcon plan to increase tariff plans to cover costs. Airtel pays $1.5 million for first month. We're working to mitigate the effect. That's according to the minister. Above the masthead, pace of Ogun State's development will only continue to increase, Governor Abiodun. And there, Nigeria produces 1.49 million barrels of crude oil in October, highest in 2 years. That's according to survey. And yet, Nigeria Exchange All Share Index, that's NGX ASR, hits all-time high of over 70,000 points. Sanwo-Olu inaugurates Yaba flyover to begin test run of Red Line trains. That's about it for the Nigerian News Direct. Next is Business Day newspaper. Relief in sight as CBN pares down FX backlog. 14 banks paid so far, says spokesman. LCCI manufacturers hail move. Nollywood's first Netflix horror series raises nostalgia. And above the nameplates on the ear of the newspaper, Nigerian health firms see expansion as acquisition deals rise. National Assembly passes Tinubu's extra budget. Reps remove 5 billion naira yacht. And service agreements attract more African airlines to Nigeria. That's about it for Business Day newspaper. And the last but not least is Nature newspaper. The Nature News. Charcoal exporters embrace federal government's afforestation program. You see that on page 3. Pope Francis to attend COP28 climate summit in Dubai. Lagos government partners Afrexim Bank, Access Bank on 4th Mainland Bridge. Shippers Council ES resumes, hails creation of new ministry. And then on the bottom strip, we have why I accepted short-term contract with NFF. Pesero, Ogun trains local mechanics on CNG conversion. Ogun trains local mechanics on CNG conversion. And Sete Confab, experts want more women in extractive industry. You see that on page 5 of the Nature newspaper. And last but not least here is Nature Care. Teach your kids green habits. That's all about it for the newspapers this morning.
And a takeaway from the papers, so far is, the reaction by the Central Bank of Nigeria to what it called a seeming cash shortage, and the central bank has, refuted, the worries, but then alluded to panic withdrawals on the part of the citizenry, and has also spoken about mass withdrawals, unduly mass withdrawals from deposit money banks, and is urging Nigerians to utilize other forms of, payment of bills as against the regular cash exchanges so as to limit undue pressure on the naira. But the Yuletide season is coming, and people are already thinking Christmas and the necessary, bustling,
Yeah.
that's attendant with the season. People are speaking already about, making purchases, buying stuff for Christmas, and the markets are busy, even though there is, the struggle. People are struggling, but, hopefully the Christmas will give us all something to smile about.
That reminds me of what some people would say, that, they will say there is no money in the land, there is no cash, and then people are standing queuing with a very long queue in front of the ATMs, and they'll be asking, what are they withdrawing? Is it their sins?